All right, so we are back and got a lot of downloads and interest on the recent episode about quantum computing. People had asked me to do something sort of laying it out for the average person. I got to admit, I drank a couple of beers before that episode and even smoked a doobie just to try to down regulate myself to the point where I could explain these things in metaphors. And I did say a couple things that I guess are inaccurate. Like, obviously, I know that an ion is not a subatomic particle. Instead, you create an ion from any atom you want by adding or subtracting subatomic particles, in this case, an electron. And so these quantum companies take atoms, they take ions, trap them in some weird environment, and then create a computer that's literally billions of times faster than the fastest supercomputers in the world. And so if you think AI is some weird nightmare right now for the creative class, just wait until we hook it up to quantum computers, where it's literally billions of times better. And that episode, I was surprised that people cared about it, but very cool to see that that's taking off. And you think about it, godlike computers are a bigger deal than crypto. It's a bigger deal than anything. There have been some Black Mirror episodes about the power of quantum computing, to where you could split your personality and shove it into a quantum computer, and it could do all your tasks for you, the same level of competence that you could. But I'm joined today by a guest, Sophie Ogle, who's very big on TikTok and elsewhere, and she's joining us in DC at the moment, so feel free to say hello to people.
Hello, guys. My name is Sophie Ogle. I'm 24. I live in New York City, born and raised in Texas. Recently moved 2 years ago, and yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited.
Cool. What do you think so far of America's capital? It's really more a town than a city because it's so small. People don't realize that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so excited to get to explore. This is my very first time, so first impression, everything's been great. Hotel's gorgeous. Transportation was easy to get here, so I like it a lot.
Yeah, usually wherever you are, an Uber's always a minute away. I don't know if it's the CIA or what, but you'll never go without an Uber.
Yeah, I know. And now, with our phones being tapped and everything, I don't know where, they probably know where I am at all times. I'm sure I'm a huge concern, so.
Huge concern.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're here. We got to feel you out and see what's up.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, the quantum computing thing I'm covering a lot because it's starting to peek its head out to where guys like Sam Altman at OpenAI are realizing they can't layer the whole planet with graphics cards, which is how current AI stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
And quantum computing has been around for decades, but now it's to the point where it's actually outperforming everything else. And it's crazy because it's getting to the point where you could put on your VR goggles, like the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And tune into a movie that's been made just for you. Not a clip, a whole movie. It's based on your preferences and stuff. And if you think that's going to be possible soon, then it's where's the place for movies anymore? Or even for the news?
Yeah.
If you're getting something that's so addictive and so tailored to you.
Or even not real people being a part of it. That's we lose that aspect of humanity almost in a sense.
Yeah.
With that anyway.
Yeah, totally. There's an app, I forget what it's called, but it's a TikTok clone where all your followers are AI bots. And so it gives normies a sense of being famous. Or suddenly they have thousands of comments in their lives, but the live stream is all being consumed by AI agents. Isn't that
Wait,
nuts?
what is that called?
I forget the name of it, but you can search for it and figure out what, I can look for it after the show.
Wait, that's crazy. I feel it would be interesting to see because I've experienced positive and very negative feedback from TikTok. Right now I'm on good standings, but it would be interesting to see the average human that doesn't make TikTok videos experience online bullying from that.
That's a good point. Maybe that should be a training session before you get your commenting account. Here's what it would be like to actually be popular versus a lurker.
Yeah, right? Here's how it would feel if people were telling you to just quit, delete.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I forgot the name, I think, because it's so sad on some level to me that you would fake being popular.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can see how somebody would just want a ton of feedback on some I don't know, if you just broke up with somebody and you do a breakup video, you'd want lots of opinions even if they're not real opinions.
Yeah, that's true. Have you heard of Red Note?
Red Note. I've seen it in the news. It's like a competitor to TikTok or something.
Yeah, I downloaded it on my phone when they thought that TikTok was going to get banned, or well, when it did get banned for 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But it's primarily in Mandarin, so I couldn't understand anything that was going on. But I don't know what.
Did you do well over there? Did you have people responding?
I had 3 followers, but they were commenting in Mandarin, so I don't know what they were saying about me.
Okay, so it's not the next TikTok for
No,
now.
not for me. I didn't do so well over there.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, cool. No, tell people about your day. What does it look like when you wake up? Is there like a content schedule, or you just post whenever you feel like it?
Well, as of right now, I've gotten, I would say in the past 2 months, more organized with it because I'm trying to make it, it's recently become more like a job. Before it was kind of just for fun. And my day usually consists of, I wake up in the morning, I'm not organized enough to make breakfast, so I always just rush out the door and I go to work, my real job. I'm a hairstylist. And then in my time off, I do anything I can for TikTok or make videos, edit, meetings. I have a manager and an agent and speak with them.
What made you install TikTok for the first time?
Oh my gosh. I was very reluctant, I remember, because at the time it was like a dancing app, like where I don't know, like high school girls would get on there and like dance. And
okay.
I don't dance, clearly, so, I don't know, I think I put it on my phone and then I was kind of looking at it and realized that you didn't have to be dancing on there, you could be speaking, and just, I couldn't get off. I was making tons and tons of videos since, I think, 2021.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a pretty early adopter then. You saw those taking off and you chose to go with just addressing your audience instead of doing some kind of dance or stunt or something.
Yeah. It's a nice outlet to feel heard. Like, I don't really care about being seen, I guess. It's more of like being heard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that like I can speak there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if this podcast is popular enough yet to be in this category. Probably not, to be honest. But there's a cool effect with really popular podcasts where it's people who can't watch stuff. It's like delivery people and cops and like people who have to look at something during the day, and like people at nuclear power plants who have to look at the screens in front of them. They will listen to podcasts. You're reaching this really eclectic, weird audience, and some of these people are awake in the middle of the night. And then you push out an episode, and it's like something out of Fight Club where you've reached all these people at once. And for a while, shows like Joe Rogan's had that effect, I think, where it was just like a big cult following. But that's the power of podcasts, is you don't have to be seen. People just recognize your voice, they have their AirPods in or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've got their attention for, 30 minutes or 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said about that too, because I feel like with the TikTok and Instagram market being so oversaturated with like, I guess you could say influencing is like, it doesn't always have to be about like, I mean, it can be about looks, but like both speaking too, and have a voice behind it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, it's weird because we can jump back and forth in ways that previous generations couldn't. Like if you were booked on Howard Stern and people thought you were funny, or if you were, the chick and they thought you sounded hot based on the radio interview, there was nowhere to jump out and then do a TikTok video to like summarize the interview.
Right.
And here it's like you get constant context. You search for somebody. You were telling me earlier today something about it's just not true. Like, I guess there are articles that I stopped podcasting in 2020. And no, we were like publishing all the time throughout COVID, like partially out of boredom. Mm-hmm. But it's completely fascinating now. It's like you have free reign, especially now with Trump coming in, and like it seems like there's less censorship, and Elon Musk owning X, and like even OnlyFans personalities are able to post nudes on X, and that used to be a big problem on Twitter. So it seems like if you have an audience, you can just wait for them to follow you somewhere,
Yeah, that's true. Do you think, what do you know about TikTok getting banned? I would love to pick your brains about that because I don't really know too much.
Well, it was banned for 14 hours or something, right?
Right.
And I think it was kind of outdated legislation that was attacking them for being owned by a Chinese company. Mm-hmm. And China, like us, has a for-profit structure where companies are owned by people, we like to call them communists, but they're actually, their companies are much like ours. And so it seemed like outdated legislation that had to actually take effect.
Right.
And it took effect over a weekend. And the issue, or the non-issue actually, is that for some time, the concerns about data privacy have been solved. So Oracle, which is one of the biggest tech companies in the US, up there with Microsoft, Oracle already had the data servers for TikTok. So when you were watching a video in the United States on TikTok, it was coming from an Oracle server somewhere on US soil. And so all these weird arguments against it had already been solved, and yet Congress, pushed this act that would take effect at some future date, and that future date was, earlier this month. And Trump has expressed a clear interest in keeping it, and one of his sponsors, one of the inaugural parties, was TikTok. So I think it's here to stay for the time being.
Yeah.
But that's what was behind it, is Congress didn't like it because it's owned by China, and they don't allow our tech companies for the most part, except for Tesla. You buy a Tesla in China wherever you want, but you can't use Google. So
yeah, I hope it's here to stay. I mean, there's so many rumors and different things that I'm hearing that I'm not sure what's true or not. I heard I allegedly going to take another look at the situation in 75 days or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's
well, I caught an interview where Trump said that his son Barron had turned him on to a bunch of TikTok content. And he realized that a lot of these influencers were for him, so he wants to, quote unquote, help. But again, I'm not sure what help is needed if it's already being handled by a U.S. company, Oracle. Just a matter of getting Congress in line. And if we're a free market, we should allow alternatives to YouTube. I know firsthand, I lost YouTube access for a few years for my main account. That's a huge video market. Facebook video is not really a thing. People don't watch long-form video on Facebook to the extent they do on YouTube, unless you're already very established. But so I think competition is good for the video format, 100%.
Yeah, and it's crazy too what TikTok can do for example, you and I that are doing other platforms or promoting something or trying to make money off of it. Is crazy how you can build a business just from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And how some people have done it it's created an entire its own economy almost. People created jobs on it when they lost their jobs during COVID, so it would be really, really sad to see that go.
Right.
So
yeah, it's true. COVID really was I think the fuel that made TikTok take off, and crypto. I remember Bitcoin was less than $8,000 before COVID hit. And then people are stuck at home. They're reading conspiracy theories about central banks owning all the money and stuff. And that inevitably pushed you into buying some Bitcoin, even if it was $100 worth.
Yeah.
And so these things took off. And now that people are back to work or back to traveling, they still have a TikTok account. And it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know too, a lot of people have made more money than they would have ever made in a typical career path, on TikTok, at least,
mm-hmm.
from what I've seen. So it's
I don't know if you saw the headline about Spencer Pratt, but he was a reality TV star 15 years ago, and lives with his wife, who was his co-star on a couple of shows.
I think my sister were you telling me about this? Yeah. We can continue though, because I don't remember exactly what the story was.
Your sister, you can jump in if you want to.
Say hello, Miranda.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I'm chronically on TikTok.
Yeah, so he lost his house, and he felt like he was obligated to help his wife rebuild. So he went on TikTok and explained how they were hit by the LA wildfires, and he made 20 or 50K in a short amount of time just from appealing to the TikTok audience who remembered him from his MTV days. So it was a cool example of it working out for people.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are the downsides of living a life like that? Do you feel ever overexposed, or do people not really speculate about you, or how does that figure into your...
I will say it's a little challenging for me in the sense I'm a very, in person anyway, I'm very open, and I've found that I I do have to be a little bit more, I guess, like closed off and like mysterious with people that I don't necessarily trust, maybe. Just because, like, you know, there's certain things that I'm working on or doing that like not everyone needs to know about. So, or like yet anyway, it takes me a little bit of energy to like keep things quiet until I'm ready to like announce them. So that's probably one thing. Or I don't know, actually it just happened for the first time. My sister was in town last weekend, and here and there I'll get people that are like, oh, I follow you on TikTok, but we were out at a bar, and the bartender, when we walked in, was like immediately like, oh, I follow you on TikTok, I know who you are. And then the guy that was sitting next to us was like, wait, I have to interrupt because I follow you on TikTok too, and I know who you are.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, this is weird. This is really weird. I don't know how to feel about that.
Sophie, Ogle, Truman Show.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I was like, oh my God, those are like not AI bots watching. Those are real people.
Right. No, that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they say 170 million Americans have the TikTok app on their phones. So it's very hard to just get rid of that when it's, again, kind of outdated views that led to that in the first place.
Yeah.
So do you do much on Instagram, or how do you like try to branch out beyond the time limit on TikTok?
Well, a huge goal of mine, I guess something that I've been having to keep, I guess, a little quiet, is like I would love to have a podcast by the end of 2025.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're from the right place.
Yeah,
we can
I know.
Promote it.
I know. And I don't, my manager's going to help me kind of get like that situated, because that's a whole different ball game. I would appreciate any help that you have to offer me, but I don't know where to begin with it. That's a huge goal of mine. And then right now I'm just working on like converting my like best TikTok videos to Instagram reels, just in case TikTok doesn't make it out alive. So it's just kind of like my two main focuses for right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to always diversify, because these platforms can give you a life-changing audience and like a life-changing amount of money, but they're very impersonal, in that if you get screwed over, it's like hard to appeal in some cases. And even with our YouTube back for our video file transfers as a company, like we're using Dropbox instead of Google Drive, even though it's 5 times as much money, because I want to have backups of all our content.
Yeah.
If something were to happen, we could definitely just upload to Vimeo and elsewhere. And yeah, so let's see, final questions. Do you ever write an ebook?
Would I?
Yeah.
I would love to. I love to write. I really would.
Cool.
Why? Why do you ask?
Oh, just we try to put out a new book every year or so, and I've realized that younger people don't read as much anymore, but I would love to see it come back. I think the ebook is a powerful kind of in-between format, you know?
Yeah, I would love to. I love to write. I grew up like not being interested in any class in school except English and like recess.
Cool.
What's he saying?
I think that's the overly aggressive maid service here. Go away. This room's already pristine. Like, what more would they have to do?
Is it?
I'm not used to rooms this fancy. I think we're good now. But yeah, it's the doorbell. So a few more minutes left. Again, for people who watched the last...
Do you want to get it, Miranda? Just like see, tell her we're good.
That's what I'm talking about. This room service is too aggressive. We're so good. What could you possibly need right now at almost 4 p.m.? I'm just curious. Bring it in if it's free food. I think there's like some offering out there for me. Bring it in. Bring it. You can bring it in, whatever it is. Don't be shy. Just the man.
Hi.
Here we
Hello,
go.
Mr.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good.
My name is Jean-Marc. I'm here from the hotel with your amenity.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Good to have you here today.
Thank
All right. Have a good one. You're not done yet? Okay.
Are they plums?
Oh, more fresh plums.
Plums.
They think of a Roman emperor. They're like, just keep him well stocked, and his plums and grapes keep coming.
Woohoo!
You're very welcome. If you need anything, just give us a call.
Will do.
We are here for you guys.
We might need more plums.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
You too.
Wow. All right, that was interesting.
Just a minor interruption. He was like, more plums.
So that's what happens when you get a lot of conversions on Substack, is you get a personal plum delivery in the afternoon, I guess.
Everything that you've built has led up to this moment.
Yeah, exactly. It is a fancy hotel, right? We can tell people where we are. We're at the Waldorf Astoria in D.C. We're not
Oh.
going to post this until we're gone.
Yeah.
But it was the Trump Hotel, and then Hilton bought it and turned it into a Waldorf. It's all, gilded looks. Everything's gold leaf, whatever it's called, Gilded Age. But yeah, so what does it look like for the future? What are you focused on a year from now?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, probably like coming out with my podcast would be a huge thing.
Okay.
I full transparency, I did buy all of like basic podcasting equipment. I spent a decent amount of money. And I filmed an entire episode, and I realized it is not nearly as easy as people make it look.
Interesting.
To watch like a 30-minute podcast. I mean, you would know. Like, to go in and do all the back end stuff on it was like, I gave up. I was like, I can talk, but like editing and posting and like you said, like hashtags, like graphic design, marketing, there's like so much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
that
No,
I gave up.
there's a lot on the back end. You
Yeah.
gotta be a mini Mr. Beast to make it in this business,
Yeah.
or at least to have your free time.
Yeah. What about you? What are your goals for this year?
We just want a lot more podcast listeners. Like I was telling you downstairs, the podcast is different from video in that someone will subscribe and they might work in like a mail room, or they might be an overnight truck driver or a cop or something. And they're subscribed until you say something so egregious that they unsubscribe. So it's a very binary kind of relationship. You either have a subscriber or you don't. So on video, it's like you're judged by how good the video is, and the watch time and stuff plays into that. Here, again, you got somebody until you don't. And so you just try to like curate interesting information. That's what I try to do. Like before we end this one, I should actually cover some news.
Yeah.
But I saw the CIA has designated COVID likely a lab leak. That was all over the Google News headlines earlier. So that's pretty interesting. And then the other stories that took off, I don't want to end our recording, but I should be able to bring it up at the same time. Here we go. Yeah, CIA now backs lab leak theory to explain origins of COVID. That was from The Guardian. And then this is the big story I wanted to talk about. A cannabis compound was discovered inside a totally different plant. This random leaf plant in Brazil has high amounts of CBD, and the laws in Brazil are different from here. It's still illegal to grow cannabis. So I think this could like revolutionize the world, because you have this plant that is just a random, vine basically, and produces large amounts of cannabidiol. And so you could grow it in countries where cannabis is still illegal and have CBD available for everybody.
Wow.
Pretty big discovery. It's weird that even today they're just discovering absolute randomness,
Yeah, like a plant that you would think at this point.
You would think somebody had chewed on it before and knew it
Yeah.
had CBD,
Yeah, it's like I feel like in this day and age everything has been done before, discovered, but that's not the case.
Oh, it's definitely not the case. They just found some sea bug the other day. I think off the coast of Japan, and it's like a new species, but it kind of looks like a lobster, but weirder.
It's large, like
It's large, yeah. And they had been selling it in seafood markets, but hadn't like officially recognized it. Pretty weird, right?
Yeah, but like that's also a little bit I feel like sketchy because
Oh, I would not eat one.
No.
Give it 50 years.
how much money would you ask for if they made you take a bite of that? I'm looking at like a million.
Yeah. $1 million or a retweet from somebody sufficiently big to eat one of those nasty things.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I want like so and so on my podcast, and then
Exactly.
we'll do it. I'll eat the lobster.
Well, they used to give lobsters to prisoners, right, on the East Coast and in England and stuff on the colonies.
Really?
Prisoners were fed lobster to the point where they would scream and be like, no more, no more. And now we pay good money to have lobster with the hot butter and all that. It's
Like a lobster roll.
Yeah,
Have you
even a
ever had
lobster
one of
roll
those?
is considered a delicacy, kind of. They're good.
I don't like.
You don't like them?
No, it makes me very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because,
Why are you uncomfortable?
Well, like what is a like you said, like a delicacy like lobster and butter doing on like a hot dog bun?
Right.
It's like I don't know,
Gotcha.
it's like concerning and you know.
Yeah. No, I just think it's cool how it's transformed from like given for free to prisoners to you go to Ruth Chris or something and you get the surf and turf and it's
Yeah.
$100.
That's true.
But any final thoughts? We're gonna leave this one here. And again, people who haven't yet listened to the last episode, it did really well, so listen to it. Just keep in mind, I know the difference between a subatomic particle and an atom. These little comments out there. Like I have millions of dollars in quantum chip companies, so I hope I know what I'm talking about at some level. But again, I just had to be. But yeah, you've been great. Enjoy the rest of your time in DC. Let people know where to find you on TikTok if they don't yet.
You too. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
What's the way to find you on TikTok?
TikTok.com/Sophie_Ogle. OGLE.
All right.
Yep.
OGLE. Thanks again, Sophie.
Thank you.